Welcome to the V2S podcast. We are three guys who like music. We've been in bands. We've watched countless bands live. We're going to talk about all things music related. At least we're going to start there. We're going to share some stories, opinions, lots of opinions, insights, and whatever else we feel like. So sit back and share a few laughs with us. Welcome to the V2S podcast.
And welcome again to another episode of the V2S podcast. I am thrilled to be here. You know why? Because we are going to talk about music in the 80s. And that is, for many of us, the golden age of hard rock, hair metal, whatever you want to call it. But before we dive into any of that, we have Dan Vincent and Scott Gale here this evening. Dan, how are you?
I'm splendid. Splendid is the word I'm going to use.
You're gonna stick with that, or do you want us to edit that out?
No, I'm sticking with it. I took my daughter to the pool today for the first time in like almost 2 years. So even though it was cloudy and rainy, you know, you have to book in advance to get to the pool. It's like, I paid for it. We got to go.
And that made you splendid.
They said if the pool's open, no refunds. Okay.
We're going.
All right.
We're going.
Awesome.
She had a ball, so.
Well, awesome. I'm glad you're doing well. And Mr. Gale, how are you this evening?
I'm doing just fine as well. I didn't go to the pool today, but still a good day.
Just not as good.
Oh, well,
Not
you know,
as good.
some of us have to work during the week.
All right. Well,
Some of us don't, I guess.
to recap, I mean, for those of you watching on YouTube, to recap, we did the best bands of the 70s last episode, bracket style, NCAA tournament style. And we faced everything off. Dan will do a recap for us. But tonight we're going to do the same thing with the 80s. And so before we get into 80s rock, Dan, why don't you recap some of the highlights of the 70s bracket for us?
Led Zeppelin 1. There's your highlight. What we did is I just looked up like best rock bands of the 70s, and I threw them all into a random generator, so their seating was completely random. Now for the 80s, I did the same thing. Metallica is not in this at all, because since the only people who listen to this probably know us, they would know, well, Metallica is going to win the whole thing against anyone. So, to make it a little more like, what's going to happen? Metallica's not in the 80s, they're not in the 90s, like, don't wait for them. Sorry.
All right. So, caveat, Metallica is the ultimate winner, so right. They're not part
and of it. Obviously, some bands cross decades. We kind of took the bands, executive decision decided, where does this band fit best? In the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, what? So, that's just kind of, you know, but you can use their whole catalog to judge. So let's just say, if Guns N' Roses is in the 80s, you could use, you know, Chinese Democracy in your critique, if you would like.
Yeah, in your critique.
Sure.
Well, and the Illusions came out in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
They did.
91.
So, but like, you know, they're an 80s band.
Very true. You know, I like how 80s rock has kind of had a renaissance of like, it used to be a slam almost to be a hair metal band, and now I think it's kind of embraced. Like, heck yeah, we're hair metal. Like, I don't know. It's I don't know that it's come back by any stretch, but I think people don't mind the moniker anymore.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I don't think it's as shunned as it used to be. There's actually, it's funny you bring that up. There's this interesting channel I found on YouTube. It's called 80s Metal Recycle Bin, and they just interview like not old, but bands from the 80s. Like they interviewed Phil Lewis.
They're old.
Well, they are old. They interviewed Phil Lewis of LA Guns, John Corabi, the dude from Kix, some guy from Rat. And they just kind of talked to him about their experience of like, okay, what was it like to be a band during that time? And then what was it like to be in that band at the time that grunge hit and the music scene changed? And some of the guys have really interesting insight as to like, hey, this is what we were doing. We went from, you know, touring on private jets to driving around in a van with a U-Haul trying to make ends meet, So it's a really kind of interesting look at that period. But yeah, I think that it's not as, embarrassing or shameful to be like, yeah, I was in Rat or I was in Warrant. And, people are starting to listen to that again as like, oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
I think the amazing thing is, and we've talked about this before, when we get to the 90s especially, you're going to see like, oh, that guy's dead, suicide, drugs, whatever. Somehow, these 80s guys, most of them, still alive. You know what I mean? Like, they did just as much drugs. It's just, it's exactly the music. The music was a little happier and sillier and funner. And
with the exception of Janie Lane, we're doing pretty good with 80s rockers.
Yeah.
Right? Somehow those guys have stayed alive through all this. Other than Janie Lane.
Yeah. Which I'm excited for the Warrant conversation, by the way. But I don't want to jump on anything.
You think they're in the top 16?
I'm hoping Warrant will be involved. Otherwise, maybe there'll be a special one-off podcast. But let's dive into it here.
Warrant's like, Metallica. Maybe they just didn't even, they would win. So
are they?
So let's go to the 1 verse 16. Remember, these are random.
Random generated.
These are random. So seating does not matter.
16.
I do want to say interact with the show if you want. Tweet us, email us, and you'll see this up on YouTube if you would like to see the amazing picture of Tesla that Dan chose where they were actually a hairband. Look at that hair. That is amazing.
I think they were hairband in name only.
In name only, but that is some great hair.
Like a hairband.
Did you search like worst picture of Tesla, worst picture of Iron Maiden?
No, but I did search like Tesla 1980s.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I searched for
yeah, knock that one out of the park.
Right? Yes, 1 for 1.
All right, so real quick before Dan kicks this off, Scott and I have not seen these before, so we don't know what's coming. Dan picked this and generated it, and we'll just argue about who wins. So Dan, go ahead and cue us up the 1 verse 16 seeds.
1 verse 16 was randomly Tesla versus Iron Maiden. Very different styles. Very different followings, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what you think. Tweet V2S Podcast. Or email V2SPodcast@gmail.com. Or Facebook. All of them. That's not true. We don't do like Instagram or anything.
Oh, we should look into that.
Anyway. Tesla, I think, is going to rock in this because I remember like a few years ago, Hair Nation did like a thing of like best hair bands, and I was amazed Tesla won, like from fan vote, and Tesla was voted the best hair band ever.
Well, they were like the working man's band. I think they were so underrated.
That sticks.
Well,
blue collar men.
Well, yeah, but I think Tesla kind of fell into that category too. I think in between these two here, Tesla and Iron Maiden, there's really no discussion. I mean, it's Tesla for sure.
See, but in a different crowd, it would be no discussion the other way. I agree with you. I love Tesla. I've seen them live so many times. They're amazing. But
yeah, I just never got into Iron Maiden. It was kind of like, okay.
I've gotten into them more in the last like decade.
I tried with Iron Maiden and like got an album, but it just didn't do anything for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I was just like, all right.
Do you want to make
you
it a clean sweep,
do a couple Iron Maiden songs, and it's like, okay, that was fun, but I need to be done now. 3 or 4, and it's like I'm out. Tesla wins far and away, but I think you're right, Dan. If it was different company, they'd be telling us how wrong we are. That oh my gosh, Iron Maiden's so much better and longevity and all that. I'll say the last couple Tesla albums are really good. Like they're still putting out good music. Pump for their last album, Shock, it was really good. So yeah, Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla for sure. I mean, you could try and make an argument for Iron Maiden, but you'd be
I'm not
wrong.
going because I agree. Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be wrong about Iron Maiden for sure.
I mean, okay, I'll at least make the comments for the Iron Maiden fans. You've got Number of the Beast and Run to the Hills are very iconic.
Ace is High.
So Ace is High, 2 Minutes to Midnight.
2 Minutes to Midnight.
I mean, they do have some really good songs, maybe even more popular songs.
Can I Play with Madness?
That I don't know if that was a popular one, but yeah.
Can I Play with Madness?
Oh, Thank you.
See,
good,
now we
wasn't it?
got to copyright this.
That
Are you
was
kidding me?
that was
You just
outstanding.
screwed it up.
That was great.
Yeah.
Bruce Dickinson bows out. They're calling me.
Outside of Love Song, the average rock fan could maybe name more Iron Maiden songs. I don't know. Tesla wins. Why am I even arguing for them?
All right. This picture is just for you, Bill.
So let me explain what Dan just put up on the screen. There is a picture of one of my all-time favorite rock stars with, if you can imagine the shortest shorts, I'm not going to say who it is yet, but the shortest shorts a man can wear without his junk hanging out. A t-shirt
His junk may be hanging out.
with
I
the
don't know.
sleeves
Zoom
cut
in.
off and a V-neck cut out and the man's mane of hair just pouring out of the V-neck.
On the beach.
And to make the man look a little tougher, it's a Jack Daniels t-shirt that's cut up. And the man is none other than the best hair of the 80s, Mr. John Bon Jovi. Looking incredibly
Can't
awkward.
get more different. Bon Jovi against Megadeth.
Yeah, this
And
is
this
a,
is Bon Jovi. So, Blaze of Glory does not count. Nothing like that.
this is a tough matchup.
Right?
I mean,
agree.
It may have to come down to the photos.
The photo of Dave is pretty good.
Well, you picked like the first incarnation of
Yeah.
Megadeth there,
Yeah.
like off the Peace Sells album, or Killing Is My Business, whatever.
Right?
Yeah, that's
Far
pretty
so good,
tough.
so what? Mm-hmm. I would say they both I think are still going strong for their genres.
For longevity, you couldn't have paired up two better bands. I mean,
Right.
they
Oh,
both
yeah, no
continue to
kidding.
put out
Strong.
highly sold albums.
Yeah,
I think, for what it's worth, the last few Megadeth albums are not their best, but are still great. I have not listened to the last few Bon Jovis, but according to my brother, they kind of keep doing the same thing.
But not only are they great, they've been number one albums. And to Megadeth's defense, they just won a Grammy.
They won a Grammy.
for Dystopia. So
Yeah.
they're both putting out quality stuff still.
so maybe it comes down to facing off their like flagship albums against each other. So for
Ooh.
Bon Jovi, what would it be? New Jersey against Rust in Peace.
Probably Rust
I
in
think you
Peace.
have to go Slippery and New Jersey against Rust in Peace and Countdown. You know what I mean? Because
Okay.
it's like those two for Megadeth and those
Sure.
two for Bon Jovi.
Okay.
I
Fair
mean,
enough.
if you do it on that, I think you've got based on number of singles, Bon Jovi wins.
See, I would. The popular vote's Bon Jovi. Not. Like, Megadeth has nothing that compares to with, like, Living on a Prayer in popularity.
Right.
And they never will.
No.
But I'd much rather listen to Megadeth over and over. Bon Jovi, I get excited when Wanting It Dead or Alive comes on. I'm loving it. But I want to keep listening to Megadeth.
Okay, so see, I'm everything you just said. You could have inserted Bon Jovi for me, and I would have thought that was a true statement. So Scott, I guess you could be the tiebreaker because I'll make the argument of.
This is tough.
Good argument, Bill. Good argument, by the way.
I'm trying to say something different than what you said, even about those two albums. Both those albums for both bands were MTV friendly during that genre.
I think
Richie and John was such a dynamic duo, just like Dave and Dave were.
we're not going to mention Ellefson here, okay?
We're not going to mention the whole Ellefson thing. I'm just saying at the time they
Had
were.
an issue.
Yeah,
He is not a member of Megadeth. There's no need to talk about him.
that's right. Yeah, man. I mean, okay. What about this? This is my last point for Bon Jovi. Does Megadeth have a song in Spaceballs? I don't think so. And
Does
when
Megadeth
Raise Your
have a
Hands,
song in Spaceballs?
when Raise Your Hands comes on in Spaceballs, that's a pretty incredible scene.
Right,
where
that's-
John Candy's dancing.
That is awesome, and I love Spaceballs.
Yeah. God, I don't know. I mean, I think both of those arguments that you guys said for each of your respective choices work for me, you know? I mean, like when I put on a Bon Jovi record, like if I start listening to New Jersey, I'm like, yeah, I want to listen to this whole album all the way through. And same thing when I put on Rust in Peace. I'm like, yeah, I want to hear this album all the way through. I think, for me, I don't know. I think I would probably lean for Bon Jovi on this because, again, the average Joe on the street, you're like, hey, name a Bon Jovi song. They're going to say, oh, Wanted Dead or Alive, or, Living on a Prayer. And they say, hey, name a Megadeth song. They'll be like, that one.
That one.
Yeah.
Didn't they have the scary guy in the video?
Right.
No, that was Metallica.
So, I don't know. I mean, nothing against Megadeth. I think they're a great band, but I think in this
I will give you this.
matchup,
If they're both playing some festival, Bon Jovi's headlining the festival, Megadeth's playing at 4 p.m.
now,
That's true.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right? Like Bill and I, 6-7 years ago, went to this Chicago open air where Kiss headlined. And before Kiss was Zombie. And before Zombie was Megadeth. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's where they are.
Right.
Where Bon Jovi, maybe not they're headlining over Kiss, but they're headlining the next day.
right. Yeah, I think that's true. So, yeah, I think I'll...
Again, I'm voting for Megadeth, but
I think it's pretty amazing how you lined up accidentally two bands that are so different. Like, people listening to this are like, how are you even comparing these two bands?
Right.
But their careers really have had longevity, probably over most bands we'll talk about tonight.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Which leads to an interesting question. Why did Megadeth get put in the 80s as far as compared to being put in the 90s?
because of Rust in Peace.
Didn't that come out in 1990?
And Peace Sells.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Look it up. When did Rust in Peace come out?
I'm gonna look it up real quick here. We're fact checking. I've got our producer is fact checking.
I also only had 16 bands per decade.
Oh,
And Megadeth had to be in there.
gotcha.
Ooh, Dan. Scott's right. Rust in Peace came in 1990.
But they wrote it in 89.
Oh, goodness.
And
Do you know what
recorded
Mad
it.
Mustaine is right now? They would have won if they would have been a 90s one.
They may have.
They probably would have.
Oh, gosh. But they get ousted in the first round to a guy wearing...
But I mean,
for those of
think
you who
about when
want to
did
see
they come
this,
out?
Yeah.
When did
go
they
to
come
the
out? 82,
14-minute
83?
mark of the YouTube video so you can see these shorts John Bon Jovi's wearing because they're fantastic.
I'm buying you that poster because you can tell that's like a poster.
Yes.
When did
Scott.
Megadeth come out? I think that was 85. I think that's when that's when Dave got a band back
Peace
together.
Cells came out in 86.
So if Peace Sells came out in 86, Killing Is My Business and So Far So Good So What obviously came out like 83, 84.
Well,
My
think
favorite
you-
Megadeth song is Peace Sells. That's why they're in the 80s. How about that?
83 is when Kill 'Em All came out. So Megadeth wouldn't have started in 83.
85 is when Killing Is My Business came out.
What about So Far So Good?
That was after it.
88.
Oh,
I always thought Peace Sells was the third album, but that's the second album.
Well, all right.
so if you're keeping
All right.
score at home, I'm batting 100 on my dates so far this evening.
Thank
Great.
you,
Fine.
Scott, for getting the dates right this evening.
You're
Number 3.
welcome. Moving on. What's next?
So Bon Jovi wins, but not unanimous. Def Leppard against Van Halen. Again, Van Halen could have been in the 70s. They could have been in the 90s.
These pictures. Jeez.
Wow.
You're liking these pictures, aren't you?
Fantastic.
Notice Def Leppard drummer. This picture is from like early 80s, so he's got 2 arms.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very early 80s. Wow.
Def Leppard is the 3 seed, Van Halen the 14.
How is...
And you can count Van Hagar,
Yeah. So...
Van Sharon.
I'm going Van Halen. I mean, nothing against Def Leppard and some of the cool songs they've had, but yeah, Eddie Van Halen. You can't beat Van Halen.
We'll find out if you can.
Well, I guess we will, but I mean, in this matchup between Def Leppard and Van Halen, yeah, I mean, Pour Some Sugar on Me is great, but just
They also have Let's Get Rocked.
right. Sure, there's that too, but
And maybe the creepiest song ever. It's right up there with I'll Be Watching You by the Police, but 2 steps behind is like the same thing. Like, I'm stalking you.
2 steps
It's a creepy
behind.
song.
It is a little creepy. I never thought of it that way. I think you just ruined
Like
that song
wherever
for
you
me.
go, I'll be 2 steps behind. It's like
I always really liked that song till right now.
Well,
I know, but think about it. If that's really about your wife, why are you 2 steps behind her? You'll be with her. But if you're the creepy guy, you're just 2 steps behind following. I'm going with Van Halen.
Yeah, enjoy Def Leppard's music. Put it on once in a while, but yeah, this is Van Halen.
for sure.
Any version.
Absolutely.
Ooh. So-
Yes, I'm saying the Sharon version even beats Def Leppard.
It
I'm not
does.
going that far.
I would. Gary Sharon's awesome.
Fair enough. All right. 4 verse 13. The 4 seed, Ozzy. Again, Ozzy could be on multiple places, but
Against Journey.
against Journey, number 13.
I'm going to have to think about this one.
I'm thinking 0.1 second and going with Ozzy. Done.
But weren't you born in South Detroit?
No. I was born in Wheaton, Illinois.
Uh-huh.
I saw what you were doing there, Scott. He wasn't even gonna bite.
No,
Thanks,
I'm
Bill.
not going to entertain you.
He wasn't even gonna try it.
That's not nice.
It's cute that Journey's in this. That's really nice.
It is adorable.
Yeah, it's Ozzy.
Do you don't think
If-
Journey belongs in the top 16 of the 80s? I mean,
I
they're
do-
still getting play on
That's a good point.
rock radio nonstop.
If Ozzy, how about this?
Don't
Let's
stop
make it a
believing in
discussion.
Journey.
What if
There it is. Thank you.
What if Ozzy had hung it up after Randy passed away and never put anything out after those 2 albums? Then
So what does that still count? Crazy Train?
You get Crazy Train, Flying High Again,
Over
Mr.
the
Crowley.
mountain.
Diary of a Madman, Over the Mountains on Blizzard of Oz. So does
Still
Ozzy
going with
still
Ozzy.
win?
I would still go with Ozzy at that point.
I would still go with Ozzy as well, too. However, Journey's fun.
Journey's fun.
It is fun. So
Any way you want it, can you not laugh and think of Caddyshack
Right.
with Rodney Dangerfield dancing in the middle of the fairway?
Nope. You
So
can't.
what? So let's dance.
And,
Yeah.
you
So-
Steve Perry's a pretty good singer, so he's got
He's
that
got a
going.
good voice.
He does.
Yeah. Whatever happened there? He just up and quit during the middle of a gig in Hawaii, I heard,
Really?
and was just done.
Yeah, for Journey?
Yeah. Why did he quit?
Yeah, I don't remember why. I don't know, but he put out that solo album afterwards, and he just put out another solo album in the last couple of years. It's kind of his big return to
Was
music.
Sherry or whatever that song, was that just Steve Perry?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Sherry. That's a great song.
And then Journey got a guy who sounds just like him, don't they?
They did, yeah.
I've heard it's very similar.
Yeah. I forget his name.
All right. Ozzy.
All right.
Ozzy.
Ozzy. Here you go, Bill. Me versus you.
Oh,
Number 5, Motley Crue against number 12, Faith No More. Faith No More could also go in the 90s, but we're going 80s.
Yeah, they might have been more well served being in the 90s because didn't even The Real Thing, did that come out in 89?
yeah, that was 89.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, nobody is going to go against Scott now that he is
Right, he wins.
clearly the year guy. Yeah, I mean, my all-time favorite band, Motley Crue, at the height of their powers, 89. They're sober, they're clean. Dr. Feelgood comes out. Best album they ever did.
I'd like to know what Motley Crue considers sober and clean.
Right. So
We don't
I'm
do
not here
heroin
to
or coke
debate that.
anymore.
So here's
just
the
know.
thing that I'm
win.
going to take this moment to point out about the Crew. And Dan, you spelled Crew wrong on your slide. You've got
I did.
Motley Cure.
My guess is that was an autofix.
So
Well, that shows you who I'm voting for.
is this a different band, the Motley Cure, or is
Yeah.
okay? But here's the thing.
What would
When
happen
Nikki
if The
Sixx
Cure
and
and
the guy
Motley
from
Crue-
The Cure came together and did something?
Well, I'd probably be able to sing better than Vince can right now.
Oh,
So
shots fired.
Oh, shots fired. So here's the thing. Look, Motley Crue with John Corabi is freaking awesome. I listened to that album again just over the weekend, and it's phenomenal. Point number 2 is Vince just did a concert 2 weeks ago in Iowa, Ohio, somewhere. And if you've ever kind of searched on the internet, like Vince Neil singing Kickstart My Heart or Dr. Feelgood, people have gone on there and put in like subtitles of what they think he's saying and his mumbles and stuff. It's hilarious, but Vince can't sing his own songs anymore. He didn't make it through his set at this gig that he just did. He doesn't look good anymore. I mean, they had said a year ago, Motely Crue was like, yep, well, Vince is going to have a year to get his voice into shape and get physically fit for the stadium tour, blah, 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 blah. So wait until after the pandemic. Pandemic is sort of ending now. It's been a year since they put out that statement. Vince still can't sing his songs. It's unintelligible.
They delayed the tour another year, too.
Well, right. And the guitar player for Def Leppard was like, well, he's got another year to get in shape.
I saw that.
And it's like, dude, it ain't going to happen. So I'm definitely voting for Faith No More on this one because...
yeah!
Because, I think when people think of Motely Crue, they ignore the John Corabi album, which is a horrible mistake, as we've discussed before. But... yeah, Vince is not. I don't know, man. I think the Crew should ditch him now and get Corabi back for the next year's stadium tour. I think that would be a great idea.
I read that same interview, Scott, and there was a picture of Vince Neil and Phil Collins, and Phil Collins is ripped.
Yes, he is.
Like he's got to be late 50s, 60s or something. He is just ripped. And he's like, in bands tour, we share sound guys, he's like, I'll share my trainer with them.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, poor Vince. I mean,
I didn't see...
Well, but Phil Collins knows, like, we'll make more money with Motely Crue and Vince Neil. Like, I don't have to like him. I just want him there.
I guess.
So we make
but I mean,
money.
yeah, sure. Bring Vince along to sing like 2 songs until he's winded and breathless. And then bring Corabi out to actually have some musicianship and put on a show and be able to sing those Crew songs. Because, Corabi brings that other kind of grittier, darker flavor to the Crew, which some of their songs lend themselves better to. But, yeah, I don't know, dude. I kind of feel bad for him, but...
He showed up at a Hagar show about 2 weeks ago and sang, I think, Rock and Roll with Sammy's band. And it was...
Vince.
It was sad. That's all I know. It was sad to see. Vince showed up, and it was sad to see who he is now.
Yeah, well, it is. I mean,
it around.
Yeah, and the guys that are playing in his band, they were playing Girls, 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 and actually most of his backup band are the guys from Slaughter. So it's the bass player from Slaughter and the guitar player from Slaughter right now. And so he comes out and he starts mumbling through the beginning of Girls, 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 completely unintelligible. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, my voice is shot. It's just been a long show. I'm sorry. I'll see you guys later." And then he walks off. And then
they kept playing.
They kept playing, and the backing vocal track kept going. So it's just like, dude, he's not even singing. Like, he's got a backing track too now that is playing behind him, and he still can't get going through the show. So it's. And I mean, yeah, I get it. We all age and we all get older and we can't do the things that we did when we were younger and so on and so forth. But again, when your wheelhouse is singing songs and you wrote these songs, you should be at least able to say the word, he's the one we call Dr. Feelgood, and have people understand it, not he, ha, ha, he, ha. And it's just like, what?
But this isn't a new thing. This is a decade plus in the making.
What is it?
That's true. Vince has never sung
like him not being
good.
able to sing.
Well, for sure. Well, yeah, absolutely. But I think it's kind of reached critical mass at this point where it's like, all right, they've got to give up the ghost. I mean, they should have stuck to that "we're retired" thing because Vince just can't. He's just not able to bring it the way he used to. And I think it's kind of a ripoff to the fans who want to see Motely Crue, and they go up there and they see, 3 guys, Tommy, Nicky, and Mick, still
and Mick can't even move.
Right, and Mick is suffering like with spine and bone stuff, and he's still ripping it on guitar. And those 3 guys are bringing it, And then Vince comes out and kind of shuffles around the stage, can't sing the songs anymore. I don't think it's fair to the fans that go to see the Crew. They're just like, what is this kind of experience? But, I don't know.
So I vote Faith No More.
Yeah, me too.
And we can go more pro Faith No More because we'll have time in the second round, Bill.
All right, we'll talk about Faith No More later. I still love my Motley Crue. I can't
I know
deny
you
anything
do.
you said.
I know you do.
But you know what's funny? We all thought they were doing the whole retirement thing to like end as the four of them, because I think a lot of people thought Mick wasn't going to make it, and now here maybe it was to save Vince the embarrassment.
Yeah,
was
maybe.
the whole reason.
Yeah.
But anyways, I will accept my defeat on this one.
Bring back
All right.
Karabi.
6 Anthrax verse. You didn't see this one coming, I don't think.
Oh.
Prince.
Wow. Did not see
Which
this
this
one
hurts
coming.
me because I have a feeling I know where you may go. And Anthrax to me is like, I think I may be the only person in the world who thinks they're like, it's Metallica and then Anthrax and a few other bands are right behind them. See, Scott had to walk away from the mic. He's laughing
So
hard.
this is
I love some Anthrax, and their last 2-3 albums have been amazing with Joey back. They have been. You can all you want.
again.
Worship music is so good.
I think he was thinking. I don't think he was even poo-pooing your
Right, I
your
was just
comment.
thinking.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna say something about Anthrax being better with John Bush.
They may be better. Yeah, I'm not saying they're not better, but their last 2 albums with Joey have been awesome.
Okay.
They're more old school thrash kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. This one's easy for me. I'm going Prince all the way. I mean, the guy is amazing. So, yeah, Prince for sure. I mean, it's weird that he's in this category. I mean, this is kind of surprising to see him, but
I think Prince can go in a lot of categories, though. We're basically talking
Well,
rock music.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Let's get started. Let's get started.
Let's get started.
I threw a little Black Eyed Peas in there.
Yeah, you did.
Let's go crazy, you mean?
Let's Go Crazy. Even 1999, like they're more rock, they're pop rock songs, but
Yeah.
is Slaughter more rock than Prince? Slaughter's not in the top 16, by the way.
Really? That seems like an oversight.
It really does. This is a tough one because I like Anthrax. They have their place. Prince's sound can define 80s pop rock though.
For sure.
Um,
In 90s and 2000s.
I think I'll go Prince. I mean, I love Anthrax, but I'm going to go Prince.
Awesome.
All right, so
Sorry.
we have one more in the first round.
Okay.
Wait, no, we have a few more.
We have a few more.
Beastie Boys, Poison.
Oh,
This is tough because I think
another.
Poison for us would beat just about anyone, but Beastie Boys, you're like, oh, but they're awesome.
Is Bill Bev DeVoe coming up too?
Bill Bev DeVoe? No. You don't think Beastie Boys deserve to be in here?
I think it's fun that you put the Beastie Boys.
It is
in.
fun.
If you talk about, I mean, License to Ill is just as much rock as it is rap.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's pretty fun.
Fight for Your Rights, No Sleep Till Brooklyn, those are rock songs.
I can't disagree with you. To
Yeah, I
me,
guess.
Poison is the quintessential hair metal band. They look. I mean, the picture Dan's showing is every other picture we've seen tonight is laughable, and then you see the one of Poison, and it's like those guys are cool. Like they just figured out the whole genre and rocked it. So I think it's fun you have Beasties in here, but Poison put out 3 albums of the most fun rock and roll, and I realize they have more albums and we could talk about those, but
They
during
have
this
3.
era, this is very fun stuff. It's Poison to me.
Yeah, I think that's right. Because that picture. I mean, Dan, you finally picked the right picture for a band. I mean, that is the quintessential 80s band look right there. I mean, yeah, for sure, Poison. And they are. They're one of those fun
You got
kind of bands.
headbands,
Hats.
yeah, leather pants, hats, a guitar, a vest. It's everything you want.
Oh, yeah. Pants with the buttons up the side. I mean, those are cool.
Yep.
Against a lot of these, I'd pick the Beasties, but they fell with Poison, and yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking like just 80s.
Right.
Poison is 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But very fun nod. I like that you included him. Good nod to the Beasties.
Very true.
Did you ever watch The Goldbergs?
Mm-mm.
No.
They did a whole episode about the Beastie Boys. It was awesome.
Oh, that's fun.
All right. Last one of the first round. Cinderella
Ooh.
against Guns N' Roses.
Tough draw for
I
Cinderella.
Yeah.
Love Cinderella.
That's a bummer for
They,
Cinderella.
I think, are like a very underrated 80s band. They were like that second tier. You know what I mean? Like, they were never Poison. They were never Motley Crue. They'd always open for those guys.
Yep.
Even when in the early 2000s, when those bands started touring again, we saw Cinderella open for Poison. But they sounded amazing. Their songs are great. And their songs are not all just like happy party songs that like a lot of 80s hair bands are. You know, like,
Right.
they have a little more depth to their songs, similar to Tesla, I think. But I don't think they can hold a candle to Guns N' Roses.
They cannot hold a candle to GNR.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses, as you said with Poison, has 3 albums, right? Even though they put out a few others, and EPs and live, blah, blah, they have 3 albums. They could have 1, and they would maybe win this whole category.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to beat Appetite for Destruction, let's be honest.
Yeah. So, I'm voting Guns.
Yep, me too.
I am too. I like that we gave Cinderella some real love, though, and I think much like Tesla, like you said, they are categorized as a hair band and really should not be, because they had so much more to offer than that genre.
But they have way more of a hair look than Tesla. And Tesla had the hair look, but I mean,
Yeah.
think of
Yeah.
Showman flinging the guitar around your back. Like, Cinderella invented that and perfected that,
Yeah,
and no one did it better.
Yeah.
yeah. Agree. Yeah, really love Cinderella, but yeah, it's obviously Guns N' Roses.
Okay, that means
Is that the end of the first round?
that's just the end of the first round.
So I have a question after the first round then. So I'm assuming that since this is the 80s, then I'm going to assume that Saigon Kick is going to be included in the 90s bracket?
Maybe 2000s. I mean, aren't they still going strong?
No. But they are not. But
Oh.
I just wanted to see.
You'll have to tune in next time to see if Saigon Kick gets the call in the 90s.
I also noticeably absent as well were the Bangles, which was a surprise to me.
Well, you know, if what's-her-name would have called in, I would have put her in.
All right. Fair enough.
We're looking
Sorry.
for a call from Susanna Hoffs. If you're listening, Susanna, Scott is looking for a call. Now back to the regularly scheduled
Genesis is
program.
not on here either, if you'll notice.
Well, I was expecting to see them in the 90s as well.
Well, yeah, I mean,
'Cause of I Can't
I
Dance.
Can't
I
Dance.
Can't Dance
Right.
came out in the 90s. Yeah,
Right.
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Exactly.
All right. So that takes us to round 2, and you have the number 1 seed Tesla against the number 9 Guns.
Oh,
Ooh, is right.
bummer for Tesla.
I love Tesla,
Mm-hmm.
but I love them more than Guns N' Roses, but I don't think if I'm sitting there like, what's the better band, that I can put Tesla ahead of Guns N' Roses.
Okay, I
Because
got a question.
No
I got
one
a
is
fun
going to
one.
say either guitarist from Tesla is a better guitarist than Slash. Nobody's going to say Jeff Keith is a better singer than Axl. Maybe like right now they would, but like in their heyday, like those are the 2 most important positions in a rock band. So I got to go Guns.
Let's play the ballad, though, because I agree with both of you. It's Guns, but what about this? Better ballad, Don't Cry, or Love Song?
Ooh.
Of that, Love Song, but November Rain is better than Love Song.
Is it?
I think.
The guitar solo in Love Song is pretty awesome. It just fits really, really well. I mean, it just opens the song up right at that moment. But then you can put that up against the ballad off of the first album, Sweet Child of Mine, which is better there. Sweet Child.
Is that a ballad? I mean, that's
Sure.
the ballad of that album, but
Sure it
that's
is.
not a ballad.
Well, it kind of is.
If that comes on in your middle school dance, are you slow dancing to it, Scott?
I will take the opportunity to slow dance to any song I get.
Scott's like, if a girl would slow dance with me during Pantera, I would do that.
I would do it. Hey, it's Mouth for War by Pantera. Slow dance? Sure.
Okay, yeah, but just having fun. Like, I would say Love Song's probably a better song than Don't Cry, and maybe even November Rain, because I love that song.
The second guitar solo in November Rain, I think, is amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay, just
But
wondering.
I love Tesla. I think they would have been like a finalist with different seating.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, it's a bummer for them.
All right, so Guns N' Roses.
So for those keeping track, Guns N' Roses wins that round.
So the number 1 seed is out.
Boom. So much for
And
that
seeding,
random
remember,
generator.
means nothing because it was random.
Right.
Then we have the 12 seed. There's always a 5-12 upset, right? 12 seed Faith No More against 4 seed Ozzy. Okay.
All right, Dan,
So
make
all we
your
did
arguments
was
for
talk
Faith
about
No
Motley
More.
Crue last time,
Right.
and they lost.
They did
So,
lose.
on a similar note, I'm going to talk about Faith No More, but I'm going to tell you I'm picking Ozzy. Faith No More is by far one of my favorite bands. I think they're so different than everything else. They have some hair metal, they have some grunge, they have some of that rap. I can't talk.
I'm sorry, what?
Rock, rap kind of thing going on. Before that was popular, Mike Patton can hit any note, low or high, there is. I think they're amazing. I think they lost something when Jim Martin left the band. Their albums without Jim Martin are still good, but they're not like The Real Thing and Angel Dust. And even Introduce Yourself without Mike Patton, with a different singer, is really good. That's more kind of punk or skaterish even. But The Real Thing and Angel Dust are like perfect albums in my mind. That being said, it's Ozzy.
See, I mean, I kind of agree with what you said. However, where I differ is that in the last week, I've listened to Faith No More, and I have not listened to Ozzy, right? So I put on The Real Thing, because, again, that was one of my favorite albums. That's one of my favorite albums of all time. Like, I just loved that album when it came out. And, yeah, and I still listen to it to this day, and I still think those songs are just awesome. And that's not a slight against Ozzy and his longevity and the power of his career and all the songs, but again, in the last week, I haven't sought out any Ozzy tunes to listen to. I've sought out Faith No More songs. So that's
really weird what I'm about to say then, Scott, because this morning I randomly got the desire to listen to The Ultimate Sin. So I listened to The Ultimate Sin this morning and hit up some Ozzy, not some Faith No More.
See? Yeah.
It's funny that you said that. So
it's really not easy to cover Sabbath. Usually bands try and do their own thing. You cover Sabbath, you cover Ozzy.
Right.
Faith No More covered War Pigs. And again, when it's a cover, you either want do your own thing, or I want you to can you sound just like them?
Right.
And Mike Patton can do Ozzy.
Yeah, that cover of War Pigs is awesome.
Tesla also covered War Pigs. It is not awesome.
Not only their War Pigs cover, they're Easy Like Sunday Morning cover.
Right.
Oh, that's
It's
so
with
good.
Lionel Richie and Black Sabbath without missing a beat.
So good.
And they're awesome versions.
Yeah.
But I gotta go Ozzy. Like, as far as guitar playing goes, like I said, I listened to The Ultimate Sin just to listen to Jakey Lee play guitar today for a little bit. And it was so cool. Like, songs you just don't hear all the time. He was great. And obviously you got Randy and Zach.
Yeah.
I'm voting Ozzy.
Yeah.
Ozzy it is. See, I could have actually gotten Faith No More through if I would have.
Yeah. I mean, it sounded like Scott was leaning Faith No More. He could have been talked into it, I think.
Yeah,
I think Scott did vote.
I was Faith No More. I was voting Faith No More.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's hard.
All right. Prince versus Van Halen.
Oh.
It's
a tie.
That doesn't work. Overtime then.
Damn it.
That is a heavenly jam. You know, I mean, we talked about heavenly bands. Can you imagine just getting to go to the nightclub up in heaven and watching Prince and Eddie just noodle back and forth against each other?
Oh, so great.
That sounds really dirty.
It's definitely not dirty.
It's not. Oh, who's going first on this one? It's
Okay, I'll go because I'll give you time to think. 'Cause
Okay.
I haven't gone first in a while. There is not many bigger Van Halen fans than me, so it won't be a shock that I'm going to go Van Halen. Really like Prince, and Scott and Dan, you can give your reasons for Prince. I will say for Van Halen, here's what I'll give you, and this will be my Sammy rant, because after 6 successful albums, they completely reinvent the band and then go on another run of 4 successful albums. In fact, I'll even rewind after 4 very successful albums and a flop of a 5th album. They put out their 6th album that was as popular as their first, where every song was a hit and one song still played at basketball games. And then after doing that, they reinvent themselves again and go on a run. So it's Van Halen, Van Halen, Van Halen.
I can maybe make this easy for you, Scott, too. I like Prince's hits. I'm not going to listen to a whole Prince album unless it's greatest hits, probably. I'll listen to a whole Van Halen album.
You won't listen to
I'm voting Van Halen.
You won't listen to Purple Rain cover to cover?
I never have. I've never seen the movie.
What is wrong with you? Who are you?
A lot of things.
How have you not ever seen that movie? I think it's on Netflix.
Sounds
Go
like
watch it.
I've never seen it
when
either.
What,
came out?
neither one of you have seen it? It's 1984 classic movie. Okay, watch it
I was
between now and the
5
next
when it
time.
came out.
Yeah, but you're 48 now. I mean,
41. Thank you.
oh, I was off by a little. Sorry.
Your math is off.
Somehow
I shot past you.
You're now older than me. Yeah, both of you guys need to watch that movie. It's not like a cinematic classic, but you need to watch it just to say, like, yeah, I've seen Purple Rain. Yeah, so, okay. Good, then I don't have to vote.
Scott picks tie.
But I probably
All
would
right,
have
how
voted
about this?
Van Halen.
This is the quintessential 80s hair metal band matchup.
Yeah, it
This
is.
is a fun one.
Bon Jovi against Poison. Like, these are, when you think hair metal, when you're not a huge fan, these are the 2 bands everyone knows.
Yeah.
Right?
I think...
Because Motley Crue, while they're hair metal, they were also a little scarier. Like, look at their Shout at the Devil pictures.
Yeah, well, Nikki lighting his
Poison and
legs on
Bon
fire.
Jovi were glam from day one and kept it going as long as they could.
Yeah.
And Bret Michaels and John Bon Jovi are still pretty. You know, like...
Yeah. Yeah, somebody
So,
go,
Scott,
because
you
I
have
can't
to start
just-
here.
Okay,
you
I'll
can-
start here
you
because
can
I think
talk.
this one is, for me, is easy. I'm going to pick Bon Jovi. Just because, again, I mean, Bon Jovi, the strength of New Jersey, that album alone, I mean, that really pretty much carries Bon Jovi, or at least should. It doesn't look like it's going to carry them all the way to the final round. I mean, yeah, Bon Jovi for sure. I mean, you put those 2 up side by side, you know, who's going to... It's Bon Jovi for sure. Just the strength of their songs and the harmonies that Richie and John sing. Yeah. Awesome. Next.
William?
Well, you have harmonies that Richie and John sang one time, but then you have Brett mentioning Cece on every album also. And he says Cece's name, and that's really fun.
That's fun.
That is fun.
He says Bobby sometimes, too.
He does. Play that bass, Bobby Doll.
Does he give Ricky a shout-out ever?
Yes, he does. On their version of Rock and Roll All Night, he says, Mr. Rocket, give me some drums.
What about Richie Kotzen?
For more random Poison trivia, just let me know.
Richie banged Bobby's wife.
Yeah, so this is a fun one and a difficult one because these are 2 of my favorite bands to this day. And I'm sorry, Brett, I gotta side with John on this one, and it's Bon Jovi in terms of music.
It was the picture
Everything
that pushed Bill
you
over.
said, Scott. Everything you said, Scott, about Bon Jovi in New Jersey, I would echo with Open Up and Say Ah.
Yeah, but New Jersey's
I
a
think
way better
Open Up
album.
and Say Ah and Flesh and Blood are amazing albums, and I will take them over New Jersey any day.
No way.
Yeah,
Really?
I will, because I will unskinny bop with the best of them.
What is Unskinny Bop, actually? What does that mean?
It's bang for Cece's. It's slang for Cece's banging a porno queen. He actually
I have a
says
better
that
question.
in another song.
Oh.
This came up once when me and my buddies were maybe not sober, but randomly one of my buddies just said, "What's an inch girl?" And we all cracked up because we instantly knew what he was talking about from the song "Don't Give Up an Inch Girl." You don't get the joke.
No,
apparently.
I don't see. I'm not following. I don't get it.
Don't give up an inch girl. And he's like, "What's an inch girl?" Okay, never mind. But I thought it was funny.
Maybe-
Again, I told you I wasn't in the
Maybe
sober state.
if you try to explain it one more time, maybe Bill and I will laugh the third time. So try
What's
it.
that
Try it
in the-
again.
Into the video for Death to All But Metal, where Sarah Silverman's like,
Yeah.
Death to All But Metal.
Right.
It's like, no, not But Metal.
Yeah.
Death to All But Metal. Yeah, But Metal.
Shout out to Steel Panther right there.
Same thing. Right there. Steel Panther is not making the 80s. Maybe 90s or 2000s. Who knows?
They should. They're
That'll
awesome.
be a fun conversation.
They are awesome.
They are pretty fun. So yeah, I got to.
I'm voting
Bon Jovi.
Poison. You know what? Poison invited me on stage to sing with them. Bon Jovi never did.
I interviewed Bret Michaels. I didn't interview John Bon Jovi. I'm still going with Bon Jovi.
Wait, I highlighted the wrong thing.
I like that
Just
Poison
saying.
got a vote, though. I appreciate that.
Yeah, they did well.
All right. Now we have the final four. Guns N' Roses against Ozzy. Van Halen against Bon Jovi.
Oh,
That's a pretty good '80s matchup there. If we just sit for a second and look at these four bands,
yeah.
GNR, Ozzy, Van Halen, and Bon Jovi, you've got 20 hours of great music listening right there.
At least.
Cover
Yeah.
to cover. You pick a random album and you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So if we have Guns N' Roses against Ozzy.
You sure do.
So I don't know. I'm looking at these four. And let's say all four are on tour. Who's headlining?
It's got to be Ozzy, I think.
Ozzy's headline. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
would say. Ozzy's headlining.
I guess.
I mean, the fact that Eddie's dead doesn't help Van Halen's case for a headline gig, but
Although, okay, hold on, Dan. Let me make an argument that didn't Axl throw enough of a fit that when Metallica and GNR toured together, Metallica was like, fine, we don't care, we'll go on first.
Yeah.
Metallica's
When-
not in this. Do you think
really-
Sharon would let Axl headline over Ozzy?
I think
That's interesting.
I think
When you put it
Axel
that
could take Sharon.
I don't know about that.
Although I think he's mellowed over the years.
Yeah. But it's probably Ozzy's probably headlining.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that Ozzy should win then over everything, but he would be the headliner. Either just in popularity or longevity alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Yeah, he would be. Yeah,
All the
that's
other
right.
three bands grew up listening to Ozzy.
Yep, fair enough.
So Ozzy versus Guns, if I'm taking one album, it's Guns. Ozzy's never done an album as good as Appetite.
Yeah,
He's got great albums,
yeah, I'm in the same boat as that. I mean, and you know,
but
Ozzy's
Ozzy has a deeper catalog than
sure
Guns, for
he does,
sure.
and he's had a lot of amazing guitar players roll through his band. However, as far as like the best guitar duo of all time, it's got to be Slash and Izzy. You know, I mean, when those two are together writing songs, it's awesome. It just can't be beat. So
But that was one album.
Well,
two
I
albums.
guess Izzy recorded the Illusion ones.
He
didn't
wrote
Yeah.
with Use Your Illusions, and then
Yeah,
he and
okay.
Slash wrote one on Slash's first solo album, which was a great
And he
song.
helped write the first Velvet Revolver album.
There you go. See? Yeah, so I'm going.
What would be
GNR.
so obviously Appetite's the quintessential GNR album.
Yeah.
what would be the quintessential Ozzy album? Because I was thinking about this actually this morning.
Good question.
And some might say it's Blizzard of Oz, but I'd make an argument it's No More Tears.
I was just going to say, I think it's No More Tears, too. Yeah, for sure.
I would say No More Tears. And on the same note, not his most recent one, but the ones before that, they were great from cover to cover.
Yeah. There's no argument there.
Black
Even
Rain,
the most recent
Black
one
Rain
without
is
Zach.
Awesome.
Is great.
Black Rain will never be as popular as any of the other stuff. None of the songs, but like, if that came out in its heyday, that would be up there with No More Tears, I think.
Yeah, and I think, and maybe it's just because how old we are, but No More Tears, when that one came out, I mean, that was all
That was
over.
the introduction of Zach, too.
Well, yeah, and that was all over the place with radio play and all those various singles off of that album. So, I mean, maybe that's why it jumped to the front of my mind. It's like, yeah, that's the quintessential Ozzy album. But, yeah, I just think that album, I like that one.
I think it is too. And Dan, I don't know if you know, but actually Zach's first album was No Rest for the Wicked.
Yeah.
Right, but like No More Tears kind of introduced the world to
Yeah,
Zach.
that's true. That was much bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how are you going to vote,
And I've
Dan?
said this before, but I still love the fact that Lemmy co-wrote Mama, I'm Coming Home. And Lemmy said, he's like, I made more money off that song than I ever did from anything in Motorhead combined.
Oh, funny. Did he also write Hellraiser? Because Motorhead has a version of that.
I do not know that.
Yeah. It's actually pretty good.
Speaking of Hellraiser, here's a throwback to something just for fun. So there's a band called The Sweet. They have a song called Hellraiser. If you listen to the opening of that song, you will see that Motely Crue ripped them off for the beginning of Kickstart My Heart. I mean, it's
Really?
yeah. I mean, the guitar, just that opening riff that you hear in the beginning of Kickstart My Heart is so similar to the beginning of the song by The Sweet called Hellraiser. It's slightly different in some rhythmic playing, but you can tell that Nikki Sixx was like, hey, here's a cool riff. Let's change it just a little.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of
There you go.
something I stumbled across this last week as well, too. Anyway,
Get us back.
on with the
Guns or
show.
Ozzy, Bill?
Yeah.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I'm going to go GNR. As much as I love Ozzy, GNR had a bigger effect on my listening youth, and so I'd go Guns.
Yeah.
Guns?
Guns.
Scott agrees. Dan, what would you say?
I think I'd go Guns as well.
Ooh, it's a
sweep.
sweep. It's a tough. It's like a 1-point win, but
Wow.
it is a win nonetheless.
The hat trick for Guns N'
Van
Roses.
Halen, Bon Jovi.
Oh, another tough one.
You know what? This isn't tough for me. And I've kind of gone against Bon Jovi every round.
Yeah, you have.
I would have picked Megadeth. I would have picked Poison. I did. Against Van Halen, I'm picking Bon Jovi.
What?
I do not own one Van Halen album other than their double live album.
Wow.
I own multiple Bon Jovi albums. I like Van Halen's hits. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They're great. Give me a greatest hits, I will listen to Van Halen. I don't think Eddie Van Halen on an album is as great of a guitar player as Eddie Van Halen is. Think of their most popular songs. Jump is a piano song. Right? Panama's got a cool riff, but I don't know, lots of songs have cool riffs. I don't listen to Van Halen hits and think Eddie Van Halen is the greatest guitar player ever. I hear Eruption or a live solo and it's like, oh, I get it. He's amazing. So I'm not as huge of a fan of Van Halen as others. Bon Jovi is fun. I'm going to listen to Bon Jovi over Van Halen pretty much any time. So I'm going Bon Jovi.
That's
You can hate me. That's fine.
No, we don't hate you. I think that's an interesting perspective on it. I think I don't know. Bill and I might have a little different take because we,
as guitar players, you may notice things. I don't.
we both play guitar, and so we both are like, "Holy cow, how does he do that?" And I think that's definitely sways my opinion towards the Van Halen on this, the Van Halen. I mean, I would go Van Halen just because, like Bill had said before, you've got the David Lee Roth era, which is awesome, and then you've got them coming back with Sammy Hagar, which is arguably even better than the Roth era, and then you've got Gary Cherone kind of coming in there and holding things down. So Van Halen has just got such staying power and longevity, not to mention the influential nature of
staying power and longevity. Who's touring still?
Yeah, but I mean,
Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony.
In the Circle.
Wolfgang's got his own band.
That's right. He's going to be opening up for Guns N' Roses this summer.
Right.
So, Van Halen. You can't deny the power of Van Halen. Just the influence that Van Halen had on future generations. I mean, Richie Sambora was probably influenced by Eddie Van Halen's guitar playing, and like, oh man, I got to start learn how to.
So was Slash.
Well, absolutely, everybody. But that's what I'm saying. Van Halen they're groundbreaking in every single thing they did. And they wrote amazing songs. Again, nothing against Bon Jovi songs, because again, they had powerful songs as well. But I think when it comes down to these two, I think you can't deny the power of Van Halen and the influence.
So, if you're saying the influence is what pushes you over, can we just give the title to Led Zeppelin?
Yes.
No, because then people won't listen to the next 2.5 episodes.
Sorry.
And we've already run an hour on this.
I'm trying to call out Scott Gale because he's going to be a hypocrite, and I don't think
I'm not going to be a hypocrite.
Led Zeppelin is the best band.
I'm not going to be a hypocrite. You don't know how I'm going to vote. We have to see who's in the final brackets thingamabobs. Unless it's Saigon Kick, then we have to go by who's the most influential band, which is clearly Saigon Kick.
All right,
what?
One Van Halen, one Bon Jovi. Bill.
Here's where I'm struggling. From a lyrical standpoint, there is nobody who writes more uplifting lyrics to me than John Bon Jovi. And I listen to him when I'm down. I listen to him when I want to feel good about myself. I listen to Bon Jovi to pick me up. When you listen to Roth's lyrics, the man can sing, but there's a lot of jibber jabber coming out of that man's mouth.
Yeah,
does he write them?
You're confused.
I don't even know.
Roth? I'm pretty sure Roth
writes
his stuff. Yeah. So it's kind of like I'm in my head. I'm going like Eddie's playing versus John's writing ability is what I'm up against.
So take it to the next level. Dave's writing ability against Richie's playing. If John and Eddie are a tie, what about the second? Who's the better number two?
Well, Sammy and Eddie is like... I'm delaying. I watched the opening concert from the Balance Tour the other night. Like, MTV just released this live video they had recorded, or this live concert. It was the opening of the Balance Tour. And it was so cool to see those four guys just smiling ear to ear, having a blast. They play a ton of new songs or songs off Balance that you haven't heard over the years, so it was fresh. And I just sat there like, oh, this was such a cool time. And that was the tour that everything unraveled. But like that first show, oh my gosh, it was so fun seeing them together.
Yeah, I had the similar experience. At one point they had to cancel a show in Dallas or something, and then they played a free show in the street somewhere in Dallas. And just,
I watched that.
Yeah, and that was off of like the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge tour, somewhere around there. And watching that, and just how tight Van Halen was, and how, just, again, how much fun they were having. They were just like, we talk about Poison being a fun band, and just how much fun Van Halen was to watch 91, 1990, in that era. They were just so good. It was so much fun to watch that show.
Yeah, I watched that one. That was very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to stop delaying. My best friend Brad's going to kill me for this because Brad and I have been to Cabo. We've seen Van Halen. We've seen Sammy. I got to go Bon Jovi because from that era, that era of Bon Jovi got me through so much, and even to this day, I still continue to listen to him. So, I'm sorry, Brad. I went Bon Jovi.
That is
Okay.
an upset.
So, can Bon Jovi kill another of your guitar heroes in the finals with Guns N' Roses? I think we start with Bill in this.
Yeah, we definitely start with Bill.
Your heroes are Eddie Van Halen, Slash. Like those are two of your guys.
And Richie. I mean, Richie's the reason I picked up a guitar, truth be told.
So Guns N' Roses, our final two. Guns N' Roses versus Bon Jovi.
Did you guys know that
Delay.
New Jersey was supposed to be called Guns N' Roses?
No.
Like the state?
No, the album New Jersey. Or no, was it Slippery? Slippery When Wet was going to be called Guns N' Roses. They were recording in Vancouver, and
He
John...
didn't even get that, did he, Scott?
I did.
He got it.
John saw a little flyer for a band called Guns N' Roses, and John said, "Oh gosh, that should be the name of our album. This band's never going to go anywhere. We should call it Guns N' Roses."
Oops.
And they obviously chose Slippery When Wet, and that little band did go somewhere.
It did.
So
Kinda
did that
interesting.
album. So it worked out well for everyone.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wasn't The Offspring going to name one of their albums Chinese Democracy till Axl finally copyrighted it? So they
I
couldn't.
think you're right.
I heard about
Yeah,
that. sometime.
that might have been true.
I guess just because
Look out maybe for The Offspring in the 90s. Who knows?
Ooh. The power and the drama of GNR, and to this day, how much I love Slash. I think I'll go Guns. It's kind of tough to knock out John like that, but you get so much story and fun with the GNR thing, and it's like Dan said, it's really only 3 albums, a couple of years worth of stuff, but it was incredible and genre changing. So GNR, saying it.
I think Guns can go way deeper in their music. Like they have a much deeper catalog. Obviously, they have 15 albums or something. I don't know. But I don't think any of them, if I'm putting all those songs from both bands together and I'm picking a top 5, at least 3 or 4 of them are going to be Guns songs before I get to a Bon Jovi song.
Bon Jovi's like a great gateway drug. They're entry level rock. And that's not a slight. Guns N' Roses is real rock and roll.
Yeah, no, I think that's true.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely
I'm going
true.
with Guns because even though Bon Jovi has the bigger volume of songs that are awesome, Guns N' Roses has the top songs. I mean, Welcome to the Jungle, You Could Be Mine. Those two alone are going to put them over most. Paradise City, Sweet Child, even the Nothing songs. When I saw Axl and Friends, Bill, remember when we saw him at the Allstate Arena? I can't call that Guns N' Roses. It was Axl and Friends. They played the whole album of Appetite for Destruction except one song. They know we can play our songs that never got airplay and everyone's going to sing every song.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Bon Jovi's not going to play Social Disease and everyone's going to sing it.
I would, though. I'd go nuts.
They're not going to play If I Was Your Mother and everyone's going to sing it. Okay?
That's funny.
Where Guns N' Roses can play their 9th, 10th song off an album and everyone will know it.
Yeah, that's true.
Those good pulls, weren't they, Will?
Those were
Right
pretty...
off the top of my head, too.
That was impressive.
That's pretty good.
All right. I think we let Scott have his Guns N' Roses diatribe now.
No. I think you guys have kind of covered it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going Guns N' Roses as well, too. So, yeah, I think that's another sweep for GNR.
Ooh,
So
most
the winner,
sweeps.
the 1980s best band, Guns N' Roses. To join the 1960s and 70s, Led Zeppelin.
Ooh,
Think of that matchup.
that's a hard matchup.
GNR had to take out Cinderella, Tesla, and even Ozzy Osbourne to get to that top-seeded spot.
And I think the biggest upset
Zeppelin had to take out
is
Kiss,
Van Halen.
CCR, Hendrix, and AC/DC. That's pretty impressive, too.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of great bands.
What were you
have
going to say,
gotten-
Scott? The biggest upset?
I think the biggest upset is Van Halen getting knocked out by Bon Jovi. At least in my mind. I wouldn't have expected that.
No?
No, that's shocking
Expect
to
the
me.
unexpected in the V2S podcast.
That's right. We're unpredictable.
Hot takes here.
We're edgy. We're edgy, talking about bands in the 70s and the 80s. Woo-hoo!
That's
And
what
we
we're going to
picked Guns N' Roses and Led Zeppelin.
Right.
The two
I mean, shocking. Who would
pretty
have guessed?
much most popular bands. If we would
This
have
will
picked,
be the
Kicks
edgy
or
episode.
something, that would have... Crocus.
Crocus. COC.
Hey, Clean My Wounds is a great song. So is Albatross.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can't
That's
go
all I got.
deeper
That's
than that.
literally all I can name.
And you've wrapped up
can
your
go too
COC
deep.
knowledge.
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, that
And
was
then
fun.
Pepper played on what? Tuesday's Gone with Metallica.
That's true. He
Boom.
did.
And
That was a really well done list,
Down.
Dan.
That was.
someone from COC and Down.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
I don't know.
I think so.
I could be wrong.
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, see, now
if you
that
are
makes
from
me...
COC, what's his name? Pepper Keenan? Mm-hmm. If you're listening, let us know if you were in Down, okay? Or if anyone else. Email us at v2spodcast@gmail.com or hit us up on Twitter at v2spodcast.
Well, I want to give us credit for being committed to keeping these to about 30 or 35 minutes, because that lasted for 2 episodes, and now we're running over an hour and 10. So hopefully you stayed with us this whole time. But, I mean, it was the 80s, so this deserved a long
And it wasn't my fault.
I think the 2000s will be shorter.
It wasn't my fault. I didn't go on a Black Crowes tangent or anything this time.
Look out for the 90s,
Oh.
maybe.
Come back. Oh,
Preview alert.
won't that suck if the Black Crowes are up against Saigon Kick? Oh, how heartbreaking would that be for me?
Pick a
What would you
child,
do?
Scott.
Right?
Pick a child.
I would cry.
All right. Well, I think we did get it right. A lot of good bands we heard from. I want to go sit and listen to Cinderella now. I'm going to go put on Night Songs and listen to that. I don't know about you guys, but this got me pumped up for some great music, and I can't wait to see what you got for us in the 90s, Dan.
Hopefully it's good.
I hope so.
A lot of grunge, I'm guessing.
What?
Probably be a lot of grunge.
Bill says it with trepidation. He's like, oh, yeah.
That'll be great, man.
Scott, you got anything else to add?
No, I think this is awesome. I think I think we hit both decades right where they should be. Zeppelin and Guns N' Roses sounds about right.
All right.
Yeah. All right, maybe after a day or two, we'll throw some of these screenshots up on our Twitter, or maybe up on Facebook when it's all said and done. So thank you, everybody, for listening. As always, we appreciate it. Email us, interact with us. Dan, you got any other parting shots?
The Bucks got their ass handed to them today, so I'm not as splendid.
That is splendid.
Go.
All right.
Go back to the pool.
Yeah, go back to the pool. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Rock and roll!
See ya.